Okay, everybody. This is the goddamn LowRoad. I'm pretty sure it's episode number 24. And who is my very, very special guest this evening?
Ghemary Demery.
Yeah, you.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that's how it worked.
Sorry, like right now there's
I should have done my research.
Shit, Yeah, there's not much to research, honestly, Ghemary is a gentleman that I've met at a job I probably shouldn't say on the show. And I actually didn't like when I first met the guy, actually, yeah. But that was literally for like one day.
No, that's fantastic. Let's get into that.
I was like, fuck this dude,
I'll let you wrap this up, and then let's dive into that.
And
you're not the only one, trust me.
Yeah. Okay, I know. Ever since I met this guy, we've worked on like different things. We recorded music together, and always seem to run into each other every once in a while. Cleveland is kind of not the biggest place, but it's still weird when you run into somebody. But the point I'm trying to make is definitely someone who's always supported me and whose goals somewhat align with mine in a way. And that's why this is very important to me to have you on my show, because this is a little bit of a preview of what's coming next,
It's cool that we constantly keep running into each other, and it always seems like you and I are always rowing into the same direction, or like have the same kind of like avenues on what we want to do.
Yeah.
Like back when I was recording some of your rap stuff, like I was really trying to like make a studio where I can record artists of all kinds.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to like put a stipulation on what kind. I didn't want to be pigeonholed as a guy who does predominantly metal or rock and roll or
just
rap
pieces,
or what.
bands,
I wanted to be able to be, I wanted to do folk music, whatever came my way. I wanted to do it, and I wanted to do it well.
Auditorship.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to be Cleveland's Rick Rubin. That's what I wanted to do.
Cleveland's Rick Rubin?
Yeah.
Oh man,
that would have been a dream. That would have been a dream come true, because that guy's a hero of mine.
Yeah,
I just like the fact that he
is a legend.
Not only that, it's just how many different styles of music he did, or still does to this day, and he does it so fucking well.
Yeah.
And he's like this musical guru. You know what I mean? Like he's very insightful. He's very smart. He quickly connects the artist or to the artist, and he quickly understands what their goals are, and he knows how to get them there.
Yeah,
in a very seamless way, and everything feels so natural, and he almost puts people in almost like a trance in a sense.
Yeah. It's like he himself is somewhat of like a filter or like an EQ.
Yeah,
just him being a part of it just kind of like makes it pop, know? Yeah, but fuck that dude, man. We're trying to talk about Ghemary here. Yo. So what I like to do is, we'll go all the way back before we start like bullshitting for real, and tell my millions and billions of fans where you're from. Where you're from?
I am from. I was raised in Cleveland.
What part of Cleveland?
I was Parma area.
Okay.
Parma
Heights. And I do consider Parma Cleveland. We'll get into that. A lot of people be like, Parma. No, you're not. Okay, go ahead. Parma Heights.
Parma Heights. I was born in LA, and then I moved here. My parents moved me here when I didn't personally move here. I'm like,
as a baby, it's just like, I'm out.
Stunting on everybody.
Little baby with a suitcase.
Moving out of this shitty town.
Yeah.
La La Land. Fuck you, I'm out.
But you were so immature, you didn't know where you were coming to. You didn't know what you did there. So.
Yep.
So LA to here. How old were you?
I was like 4 or 5 months. Okay, I don't have any recollection of living in LA. I would go visit there from time to time when I was younger, just to go visit family and stuff like that. And I think it was in a small way my parents showing me like what I could have had growing up, but didn't have at all.
It's fair.
Yeah. It's like you could have lived in this really nice weather, but instead we moved you back to Cleveland where you can live in all the weather. You can live in
mostly
all of
the bad stuff.
Yeah. You can live in all of the weathers And that's our gift to you.
You think that's humbling?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm actually really thankful that I didn't grow up in LA. LA is a shithole. It's the fakest fucking town. Everybody's fucking fake.
That's
you have
what
to
I
drive everywhere. It's just I'm so thankful I didn't grow up there. And everyone's super passive.
You have to drive everywhere. I've not heard that as a complaint ever.
Yeah, you have to drive. You have to own a car in Los Angeles for the most part.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's lame.
It sucks. I don't. And their transportation, their public transportation there is lackluster at best.
It's weird. It's LA though. You think it? They got everybody.
I mean, granted, Cleveland's public transportation system isn't the greatest, but
I thought our stuff was pretty good.
It's not horrible. I don't think it's horrible.
Yeah.
A lot of people complain about it, but
that's because they're on the bus. So yeah, they're fucking complaining. Like, what the fuck?
I don't mind using it from time to time. I use the Rapid a lot to go downtown.
Yeah,
because it's not far. It's a 2-block walk from my house.
Yeah, and ain't nobody trying to park down there, bro.
No,
fuck that.
It's not worth it.
No, it's not. Like literally, like monetary wise, it's not worth it.
One time I had to park downtown because I had to stop there real quick. It was like on a Monday afternoon, and it still ended up costing me like $35 to park because it was during when the All-Star break was in town.
Oh, okay.
So I got fucked hard.
Yeah,
I was so pissed.
Yeah, a lot of people got fucked hard in All-Star week. That's
for
sure. Inappropriate. Okay, so tell me a little more about Parma and Parma Heights, man. People don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure that most of my fans or people who really listen to my shit are from the UK.
Really?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
That's like the most love I've ever gotten, like online from people from the UK. And they'll ask me, they'll be like, "Oh, you're from the UK?" I'm like,
bless their hearts.
I know.
I hope things are going well with this whole Brexit business. But moving on to Parma. Parma was an interesting place. It's got a high population of juggalos. One of my jokes always is that my mom deserves an award for raising 2 heterosexual males in Parma and neither of them becoming juggalos.
I don't know, man. You might be a secret juggalo.
I'm an incel juggalo.
Kind of feel like
I think they
go swimming, right? And you'll keep a shirt on. We're like, yo, why is he being insecure, man? We're old ass men at this point, and it's really because you have a hatchet man on your fucking back.
I think that's what they call it, like juggalos. Like incel juggalos are just called single cells.
Incel juggalos. Oh my god, single cells. I don't think they'd like that joke.
I don't care.
If they would get it.
Yeah. What, I'm going to be sensitive towards the juggalo community all of a sudden?
Bro, they'll come and get you.
I almost said I'm a juggalo, like a sympathizer. Thank you.
They're gonna cancel you. Then get on Twitter and they're gonna start spamming your account until you start to praise ICP for the gods they are.
And now that we're on the topic of Parma and juggalos, Parma's pretty white trashy. And being like half Arab, half Native American, growing up in that kind of environment was... now I get why my parents homeschooled me.
Yeah.
All this, and they just kind of like pulled all of us out. And they're like, we don't want our kids being around all this white trash all over the place.
Yeah, and isn't it extremely difficult to just... Obviously, unless it's private school, but like to get if you live somewhere, isn't it really, really hard to get your kid to a different public school? Don't they like make it like impossible? Like say they want to you live in Parma Heights, like you send you to like a Lakewood school or something.
Oh yeah, you could do that.
Yeah,
yeah, they couldn't put me in a more diverse school. I mean, they could have maybe put me in a Catholic school, but I don't think they were gonna go that route either. My parents were like these like evangelical, non-denominational Christians, like ex-hippies. Like my dad came.
Blend.
Yeah, my dad came to Christ on acid type deal. Like
okay, yeah, that's when he's seen him.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's how he met him.
So wait,
him and Jerry Garcia.
So what's the curriculum when you're homeschooled? Do you have to get up? Do you still have to get up early? Or you just kind of get up when you want?
No, so I got an itinerary for the week. So as long as I got that, as long as my grades were good, and I did all of the work for the week, I can do it in the first 3 days. and then I'd have 4 days to party.
Yeah.
Which was awesome, especially when you found things like skateboarding and punk rock.
Yeah.
It fucking ruled to just like, you know, spend the first 3 days to get I would do 3 12-hour days of schoolwork, knock it all out, and then spend the next 4 days skateboarding and trying to not get in trouble. I did get busted quite a bit by cops for curfew. They thought I was skipping school.
Oh, yeah.
It happened a couple times where they'd take me home to my parents. My parents are like, he's homeschooled. Like, let him
Even
go.
ride back?
Yeah.
Jerks.
They'd take me to my parents'
That's kind of
house.
cool.
And then like be like, hey, you know where your son's been all day, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, yeah, he's been out skateboarding.
Yo, so when did you couldn't have gone to homeschool the whole time? Was this just like a middle school thing?
No, I was homeschooled from second grade until my sophomore year of high school. And then I went to the community college in the area, Tri-C, at my sophomore year of high school. And holy shit, was that a culture shock.
Yeah, just throwing you in there.
Yeah, going from, you know, attending classes with literally nobody to classrooms filled with people who are now minimum 4 years older than I am.
Yeah.
You know, these are college students.
Yeah.
So that was quite the culture shock, you know, watching these kids playing hacky sack and smoking Marlboro cigarettes out in the courtyard. It was pretty intimidating stuff. Yeah. And I'll never forget one of my professors, they issued us homework. And I've never had homework.
Right.
So I was like really, I'm like, I was really confused. I even asked them, I was like, well, we did the work in the class, right? Mm-hmm. Why don't we just do the work in the class? Why bring it home with us?
Yeah.
They're like, you're supposed to go home and do this work. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like,
it
was very confused. Yeah, it confused the shit out of me. My first semester at the community college, I was so at that point I was so used to getting A's and B's, and I was not failing, but I was still struggling. And I kind of got it together towards the end of the semester, but it was definitely tough going from homeschooling to college classes.
Imagine, man.
It was ridiculous. But I'm glad it definitely broke me out of my shell. It definitely helped shape the man I am today, because without it, I wouldn't know how to like interact with people. I used to be such a very a shy, timid, kept to myself type person. Was never outgoing at all, and now it kind of forced me into interacting with people, which was a good thing. Sure. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to even now that I'm a stand-up. That baffled. Well, my parents still think of me as this shy, timid kid, because around then I don't talk much, because they're both very chatty. They're both wonderful people. Yeah. They're both very, very chatty.
Yeah.
So I don't get a whole lot of room to talk at all. And so when I got outed towards the end of last year in 2019 that I was a stand-up comedian. My parents
got outed.
Yeah, because somebody
posted. Your cousin was like, "Yo."
Somebody posted, like a friend of mine posted me doing stand up somewhere. My parents saw it on Facebook.
Oh,
and so
busted.
Yeah, and it's because I didn't really talk about it much. And my parents were like, "What do you talk about when you do stand up?" And I was like, "Whatever I want." It's very liberating. It's nice.
Yeah.
I do like going up and making people laugh. But that took a lot. I mean, I like to view myself as more of a introvert that's trained to be extroverted. I'm very comfortable with just being alone. I don't have any qualms or like insecurities about it. I mean, I'm like any other real individual that I'm afraid of. I have the fear of being alone and dying alone. So I feel like that gets a bad rap in the news lately. Like depression and the fear of being alone gets a bad rap. But without that, I wouldn't have the incentive to go out and meet people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, I still deal with deep-seated depression and insecurities. but to be able to like almost face them in a sense, either in stand up or art in general, whether it be podcasting or recording artists or making music myself, it definitely helps keeping a lot of that at bay in a sense of it being harmful.
Well, slow down. So, still telling the story. So, when you were homeschooled and then you went to community college in your sophomore year, how did you make friends? Did you just like go to the park and you're like, hey, I'm a kid like you, but it's a little different?
I pretty much would just I taught myself how to play hacky sack. No joke.
That was hot. I mean,
I got a hacky sack, and I learned how to like, I
can see the montage.
Yeah, like just like working on it. I'm like, well, I'm good enough to at least hold my own in a circle. So that was my introduction. I met a lot of people who are still friends of mine today from that.
Yeah.
Just being like, okay, well, I don't smoke, and I'm like not old enough to even buy my own cigarettes. Yeah. But I can at least play hacky sack, right? So
what would you do if you see someone playing hacky sack right now? If you're just going down the street, would you join? Would you be like,
no, I'm too old.
You'd be like, I know this. Too old for hacky sack? What? You're gonna hurt yourself?
Oh, I'd throw my back out, or I'd pull a hammy.
Pull a hammy?
Yeah.
Tear your ACL.
My Henry would be all fucked up. Yeah, there's no way.
Okay, do activities and made a couple friends and shit.
Yeah, and then I grew up religious in a Christian cult like atmosphere, but that focused predominantly on the arts. So that's what a big of my background comes from, especially my desire to like be in bands or create music or stand up or podcasting in general.
But see, the thing is, you weren't always thinking about that.
Well, obviously not podcasting. I would be ahead of my time. I'd be a rich man.
when you were younger, is that something you thought you were gonna do, or were you like, oh, I'm about to go to school and get my degree and blah 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 and get this job, or did you always know like, yo, I'm gonna do something creative?
Yeah, I was pretty much always focused on doing something creative.
Yeah. Did you play instruments and stuff when you were younger? Or?
Yeah. That was also a big help to form me as like being a little bit more socially open.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
When I went to I got all of my prerequisites done in high school, and then when I graduated, I went into a recording arts program.
Yes.
When I graduated high school, so I went to college for recording arts. I did that for about a year. I never actually graduated from it.
Me too, man. Yeah, not a year though.
I went through the first I think it was a year and a half. I almost finished it.
Yeah, because it's like 2, right?
Yeah, and then I bailed on it because I'm like, oh, it's right when Bush was in his second term. There's just no money to be made anywhere. I had already gotten fucked over by a couple different studios that were not paying me what I should have been getting paid or promised to be paid. I'm like, oh, there's no money in this, so I got to figure out something else to do. And then I went into real estate for a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. What a terrible, terrible mistake that was. Back when I was 19, almost 20.
Yeah.
I looked like I was 12 years old. I have a very young face. Mm-hmm. So can you imagine, you have 3 major decisions that you got to make in your life. One being what you're going to do for a living. 2, who you're going to spend the rest of your life with. And 3, where you're going to live. And you have this pipsqueak, young-ass kid trying to help you in your 30s. If I were to meet me at that age and that was my real estate agent, I'd be so annoyed.
I think it's like a joke.
Yeah, I feel like somebody's pulling a prank. Especially at the time, where's Ashton Kutcher at?
Yeah, exactly. That was super hot.
Yeah.
Did you sell any houses?
No, I never sold a single house. I came damn near close. And That's right when I
started.
started.
Close, where they're like, they got the pen in their hand and the paper right there, and they're like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it.
No, they didn't have the funding. They never got the loan. Never ended up going through. So that happens. It never got out of escrow. That's the closest I came to selling a house, and luckily that's the only time I'll ever be close. Unless I'm buying a house and then selling that house, I'll never sell another house.
And just flipping it. I mean, you pretty much did it.
I have no ambitions in real estate.
It's like getting the third base.
No Trump.
You know, you pretty much hit. You know what I mean? So, all right. So, when did you begin your first adventure into something artsy? Was it with the band? Because I know you were in that band, All the Dinosaurs, and I'm assuming you were in other bands because everyone I know that's in a band was in like 7 other bands. But I don't know.
How far back do you want me to go?
The first one.
The very first band I was in was a ska pop punk band called
Ska. Oh my!
Yeah, it was a ska pop punk band. We were called originally. We were called Just Nave and the Early Graves, or
Just Nave and the Early Graves,
and then we changed it to something in the Shrimp Shack Shooters. We thought we were real clever because we pulled from that one shitty ass movie that Tom Hanks directed and wrote. What was the name
of the movie?
No, the name of the band that was in that movie. Not the Wonders, but they were the Wonders were playing a band in a movie that they were filming. It was very meta at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Hodgepodge and the Shrimp Shack Shooters. Nailed it. I can't believe I remembered that.
In the Shrimp Stab Shooters?
Shrimp Shack.
Shrimp Shack Shooters.
Yeah.
Hodgepodge and the Shrimp Shack
Shooters.
I kind of like that name. Not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
It's weird though. Okay, so then,
and then the girl Jess Hodge, who was our lead singer, we kicked her out. And
when does that ever happen?
Yeah, and then we got my friend Joy Hoftizer. We got her to front the band, and we decided to get rid of that band name because it was too immature, and we decided on Anyone's Anthem. We were awful. I don't think there's any evidence of that band ever being in existence, and I'm very thankful for that.
You're happy about that, huh?
Yeah, I'm very, very happy about that. And then I was in a band, like an emo band called Tomorrow. Oh man, I was in this band.
Tomorrow's Night.
Fuck.
Tomorrow's Tears.
Tomorrow Never Burns or something like that. Or Tomorrow Burns Red. Some shitty thing like that.
Yeah.
And,
that's emo.
It was super emo, and I only lasted maybe 6 months in that band because I was like, I'm not into this at all. Like, none of this connects in my brain. I don't even know why I joined. I think it was because...
Were you the same... Did you play the same role in each band?
I was a lead guitar player in all of those bands, yeah. And then I joined a band called the Bright Red Fight, which was an instrumental...
It's like a Soviet kind of thing?
Yeah. It was an instrumental band that we would put like a sheet, like a white sheet in the front of the stage, and have a light beaming through the sheet, and this girl would do these like marionette,
puppet shit?
Yeah, puppet show while we played. So no one ever saw us.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was weird.
Wait, what would the puppets be? Would the puppets be band puppets, and she would she just be doing some weird?
She put on this whole production of like a girl falls in love with a boy marionette, and they're running around and frolicking, and and then she dumped that for a little while. And then she was just painting on the sheet for a little while, which was pretty cool. I guess I don't know. We played a show in Southern Ohio, and the guy, I don't think really understood what kind of band we were. Like we were this like mellow artsy band, and the guy was like, "All right, everybody, let's get pumped up for your next artist, the Bright Red Tights." And then like the crowd's like, and we're like, "Oh, we are fucked."
Yo,
yeah, this is not gonna end well. And then I joined a band after that called Poor Sailor, and I am actually I'm very proud of that band. It was just a straight up indie pop band. It was a lot of fun. We played some out of town shows, but nothing to really bat an eye at. Had some marginal local success, and then that band broke up, and I went solo for a little while. I call it my Bob Dylan phase, where I was playing acoustic folk music. And I did
performing by yourself?
Yeah. And I did that till about 2008. And then...
you just called Jeremy?
I was called Golden Ox.
Golden Ox?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I called that project the Golden Ox. And then I got asked by some coworkers of mine. They're like, hey, our bass player... He either quit or they kicked him out. Either way, he was having a kid and couldn't be in the band anymore. Mm-hmm. And I was a few weeks away of moving to New York. Like, I had sold all of my possessions, everything. And the only thing I had left was like a laptop, my clothes, and my box spring. Mm-hmm. Now, my box spring and my mattress. That was all I had left. I sold my car, like everything.
Yeah.
And I was like a few weeks away from moving to New York City. And they asked me, hey, do you want to try out for this band? We want to tour a lot. Like, we have a tour coming up soon. We're going to be gone for 2 months.
Yeah.
I didn't really think anything of it. They asked me to play bass. It was definitely much heavier. Like, they had no business even asking me to be in this band because I was an acoustic folk artist and they were like a punk metal band.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they saw in me that made them go, hey, we should ask him to play bass, which also I've never played bass in a band before. So I was out of my element there. And so they asked me to come and they're like, oh, well, at least, I think they liked me as a person.
Yeah.
They're like, well, Jeremy would be cool to hang out with for 2 months at a time. You know what I mean? I'm going to have to live 6 inches away from him for 2 months on the road.
Oof.
Who do I want that other person to be? And I think they liked me just enough to like, oh, let's ask Jeremy to do it.
Yeah.
So I went and tried out, and I don't know what it was about this band, but everything clicked. Nothing has ever come that easy to me. That first tryout, like I just understood the music almost.
How does a tryout work? Where they put you in the room to like do your thing, and you're just like.
No, that one was more like
looking in the eye and shit.
They asked me if I had any songs of my own, and I showed them some of my acoustic folk shit. Not really knowing the room. And then they showed me some of their songs, and I learned them pretty much immediately. Again, I'm not like an accomplished musician. I'm not.
What the fuck is an accomplished musician? Somebody who's like
that's more talented than me, and
is
especially
it talent?
or at least has a lot more. Had put in a lot more work into their instrument than I had. Like, I'd never played bass in a band before, so they showed me the songs. I learned how to play them real quickly, and put my own little spin on it. Mm-hmm. And then they learned how to make my shitty folk songs into some really good like punk songs. So it was a pretty good fit, and I was in that band for 8, 9. I guess technically I'm still in that band. Right now we're on a little bit of a indefinite hiatus that's gone on for like 2 years now.
That's not as long as I thought you were gonna say.
We talk all the time. We're still really good friends.
That's
and
good.
we talk about getting together, I'd say once a month. It comes up, and I'm real busy, and those guys have kids and wives now.
Yeah.
You know how it goes. You get older, your priorities change.
Yeah. Things happen.
Even if we got back together, we wouldn't be the band that we were when we were doing it real seriously. Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes we'd go out on the road 6-7 months out of the year.
Yeah.
And it's hard when you're 35 plus to go, oh, let's go on the road and play these like small clubs and sleep on people's floors or sleep in the van you know, when you have this comfortable home life and kids and a wife that rely on you, you know. So there's no love lost between all of us. We love each other, we care about each other, but we know that we've kind of moved on from that band being such a huge priority in our lives. And I wouldn't trade any of those memories in for the world. I mean, I still think about a lot of the times that we've had on tour, and no one will ever know what that kind of life was like more than those three other guys.
Yeah.
And I'm still really good friends with them. I'm still very thankful to have them in my life. I'm glad that, you know, it never ended. The band never ended poorly, where you had to think about it in a sense of like, oh man, those guys were assholes type deal. Like, or they ended up being assholes. It kind of just naturally faded away.
And shit, yeah.
So in that sense, Neil Young, you are wrong.
Okay, and then there's...
It's better to fade away.
What bands after that? Or are we done?
We're done. That's it. That's all.
Wait, what happened to All Dinosaurs, though?
That's what I was just talking about.
That was that band?
Yeah.
No, you needed something else.
No, it was All Dinosaurs that asked me to join their band, and then I joined.
What was the band before?
It was Poor Sailor. I touched on Poor Sailor.
I know you did. Okay, I thought you were talking about Poor Sailor. We didn't get the fucking All Dinosaurs yet. I'm pretty sure you called it something else, man.
Poor Sailor's into All Dinosaurs. Yeah, because I was about to move to New York.
Yeah.
After Poor Sailor ended, then I did Golden Ox, the solo stuff. And then from the solo stuff, I did All Dinosaurs.
All Dinosaurs never had a different name. It was always All Dinosaurs.
Always All Yeah.
Right,
they named the band. They named the band before I joined, so I never even had, which is a good thing because I've always been in shitty bands or band names. Poor Sailor wasn't bad. Golden Ox is a little bit questionable, but I kept it around for so many years that I've just kind of grown to accept it for what it is. And All Dinosaurs, I think, is a really great band name. I'm so proud of the work that we did. The first album, I don't look back at it as like as it being a bad record. I think it was a record that was good. We did a good job for the resources that we had at the time. Yeah. You know, what was available to us. There's some gems on that record, off our first record, Paranoid Indigenous, if you want to check it out. On
Paranoid Indigenous?
Yeah, that's the name of the first record. The second record has a really long name. Let's see if I can pull it off. It's called, we named it after a book written by George Washington, which was...
like the president or a guy named George Washington?
No, the president. What was the name of that record? I hope you're good at editing. Or am I editing this?
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll find out. Or we'll just leave all this embarrassing shit in. That's fine with me too. I can't believe I'm spacing on the name.
That's
of this
how
record.
live my shit is. It's so live.
I like it.
So live and
I'm okay with it. I mean,
so live and uncut.
I'm a very open man.
I bet.
I'm secure with who I am and what I do and how I do it.
Well, while you're looking for that.
Oh, I found it already.
Oh, you found it? What is it?
Yeah, it was rules of civility and decent behavior.
Rules of civility and decent behavior.
Yeah, which that's written by George Washington.
Oh, okay.
And then our third record is Total Dissatisfaction.
So that one's funny. I like that name. Total Dissatisfaction.
So we went from two words to a lot of words to two words again.
Total dissatisfaction. It's like when you get like burnt pancakes. Like I'm just
totally dissatisfied.
There's nothing I could do with this right now.
Let's talk about how you didn't like me when you first met me. I think that's really interesting because I am not going to defend myself on that one because when I worked at that job, I still find myself apologizing for who I was then. To this day, I'll run into people that I used to work with at that job and apologize to them for being such an asshole to everybody. I was a self-entitled prick. And the reason I was that way is because I not only had worked that job for a really long time, but also no one was... I kind of, like, I was good friends with the owner of the restaurant. Yeah. And so I felt this kind of, like, chip on my shoulder that was only given to by me, for me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I was one of
yeah.
those kind of people. So like, I was such a dick to so many people. I ran into a former coworker not even a month ago and apologized. I was like, hey, I want to tell you that I'm sorry for being such an asshole to you all the time. And they not only accepted the apology in a very graceful way, but they were like, they didn't deny the fact. They weren't like even trying to be like, no, you were fine. You know, it was just the circumstances and blah, blah, blah. No, they're like, oh, thank you for saying that. Yeah, you were,
fuck
you were
you,
a dick. And I'm glad that they approached it that way and not tried to skirt it as if I was like, no, you were good. You were fine.
Yeah. Well, you know, it was literally for like one day. It was just because I was new, and I think I asked you something, and you were like, you're like, I don't fucking know, or like, you should fucking know that, or something like that. And I was just like, oh,
yeah.
all right, then. Like, fuck this dude. And then that was it, though. After that,
most people don't like me when they first meet me, and I think I try to like immediately when I meet somebody new, I try to push them. Like
sounds like a really good strategy.
Not verbally push them, and then
physically push them.
Physically, and then see if they like me afterwards.
What's up?
Like I defy you to like me. That's what I do.
Do it then.
Yeah, go ahead. See if you like me.
Go ahead. Want to hang out and have a good time? Try me. Fucking try me, buddy.
Even my wife thought I was such a. It's negotiable if she still like. No, she liked me. But she didn't like me when she first met me. But you know, that's another story altogether.
Right. Well, it seems like that used to be a thing.
Woo.
I'm out of shape.
Me both.
My calves got tight just from going up those steps. Oh man, that piece sobered me up. It's bullshit.
You want another beer?
Hell yeah.
There's some in the refrigerator.
Oh shit.
Top shelf.
You don't want one? You good?
I'm all right.
Oh fuck.
We can get into that in a minute.
What you say?
We can get into that in a minute.
Oh, good old Coors.
That's one thing I want to talk about. I know I'm kind of leading in a sense, but
No. I'm on every episode. I didn't even have to tell you that. Usually I have to tell people that. I'm like, yo, make sure you just talk, man, because it's not like it's like an interview show. It's not like just like a podcast where it's like me and my buddies and I'm like, what'd you do this week? And like you start to know what I'm up to. Like I'm just on random shit all the time.
Yeah.
So you don't know what I'm, but like You don't know what I'm gonna be.
You ain't gonna tell me to talk.
Yeah, yeah. I figured. That's why I didn't even have to fucking remind you. Oh man, it'd be so cool. You gotta blur these out. Just because I love the blur, like the censor thing. I love censor. Like I've shot music videos and shit, and I have like pot or whatever in there, or fake pot, just. And I'm like, blur it out. Like not because I'm worried or anything. So I just like to look blurred. Like what is it? What was What are they drinking? What are they smoking? And they're not paying me neither. So
yeah.
I don't want this shit. I don't want this shit in there.
Roxanne.
Fucking Roxanne. You gotta bleep that shit out. You gotta pay us.
Roxanne.
You better pay us. Non-carbonated. Thanks for putting that on there. Fucking spring water, dude.
Oh, it does say non-carbonated. It's so funny.
Like somebody picked it up and they're like, oh yeah. Oh, non-carbonated. No.
Oh, man.
I like my spring water bubbly.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Burbles.
Wait, where are we at?
So
talking about
I was apologizing.
For being an asshole.
For being an asshole.
I didn't think you were that much of an asshole. I did realize that, or not realize, but there would be some people who talked to you who didn't like you, talked about you that they weren't fond of you. But that's restaurant bullshit. People just take something.
I don't know. I don't defend myself during that time because I was kind of an asshole. I had this self-entitlement that I just, for whatever reason, gave myself. No one said like, hey, you're above everybody. Yeah. And I wasn't anybody's boss.
I never got that feeling. I just thought you got smart with me. And I've always had a bit of an anger issue, And, I'm growing out of that now. My T's getting low and shit. It's all good. But like, if someone is snippy or gets smart with me, I get like mad instantly. I know that happened quick with you the first time. I was just like, what the fuck? And then I got over it. But
sometimes I forget.
I didn't see that with you that much. I did see a lot of people who I kind of like didn't like their demeanor, who didn't like you. And they tried to explain it to me. And I'm like, you're just kind of being a punk ass.
I would forget that my normal speaking voice and my sarcastic speaking voice can tend to sound the same.
Yeah.
So I always just sound like I'm being an asshole.
Yeah.
Even when
you can't tell.
Being sincere.
But I think I have to, if I could shoot you some bail, you're not apologizing or anything, you're apologizing to people, but you're not making excuses. The community that you were in wasn't exactly like, it wasn't like it was a bunch of fucking friendly ass people, and then it was just you, Jeremy, the fucking troll asshole.
I can't control that.
You can't. But to act like it won't affect you, or to say that you're the asshole amongst others who aren't. I feel like people who are listening right now are gonna think like, yeah, multiple people have said, hey, I didn't like this guy at first, but they had no idea how terrible some of the other people were. So maybe it's not fair to compare, but I'm going to anyway. So I feel like in comparison, you're far less, because of the ethics. I don't feel like you were doing anything like that grimy. Like you might say something.
Yeah. And I forget about them.
Fucking people over.
I felt like a lot of people were taking their money. Yeah, or like that are taking what I said or did or didn't do home with them, where as soon as I clocked out, I washed that shit off. Yeah. In a sense. I didn't care anymore. It was over for me. I just wanted to go home. I wanted to go home and drink and do my drugs and started the next day.
I could use some drugs. I haven't done a good drug in a while. Feel me?
I don't, because I ate mushrooms like a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
And here's a pretty good segue into. It was the first time I'd ever done a hallucinogen without having drank. Without alcohol in my system. I haven't had a drop of alcohol in 6 months.
Oh, nice.
And
so I'm happy you get too drunk and like embarrass yourself, or like health reasons.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like, that's probably another reason why I felt so entitled to apologize to so many people, because when I drank, also it didn't help my attitude towards life.
No, not at all.
My attitude when I was drunk, after I'd been a night out drinking. Yeah. So I would tend to lash out because I wasn't happy with myself.
It makes you quick. It makes you like real short with people, even when you're not like the next day. It could definitely make you short.
Yeah, and so
it dries you out.
I decided to quit drinking for a little while, kind of dry out and reassess my situation, and it's been good. I still deal with those. I don't want to say demons. It's maybe too
demons.
Yeah, that's too much on it.
Demons.
You're here. Demons.
Demons and dinosaurs. Demons and dinosaurs, man. That's the new project.
That's the new project, Demons and Dinosaurs.
That's the new shit right there.
That's the reunion album.
Do you have a specific event where you're like because there's always, I don't know, every time I take a break, not every time, and lately it hasn't been because I did anything embarrassing, but it'll be like I like drove home like super drunk or something, you know what I mean? And I'll wake up or I'll get home and I'll be like, what the fuck? I don't remember this drive, bro. Or I'll wake up like, I don't remember driving. I'm like, all right, let me just chill out for a minute because I'm out here risking other people's shit, Or I sleep with someone.
Yeah, I wasn't anything
really random, and I'm like, yo.
It was more of a long stretch of time that led up to being sober. It wasn't any real one particular thing. I just knew that, like, having gone down this road one too many times, that if I continued going down it, this time was going to be the most destructive of it all.
It's just going to keep getting crazy.
And I was already, it heightens my insecurities and heightens my depression.
Yeah.
It heightens my anxieties. Those things are still there. Don't get me wrong. Those are things
you're human, man.
I'll always struggle with, and I always deal with, probably to the day I die. But at least when I'm not drinking, they're manageable, which is nice. Now I'm not trying to get on any real high horse on like the not drinking thing. Like,
well, no, you're not on high horse because you're saying it adds to issues. You know what I mean?
It works for me to not really be drinking. I've never gotten so much work done in the last 6 months as I have. I just got a lot going on, and I got a lot of things that I want to accomplish, and I'm not getting any younger, so it's like, I don't, maybe if I bet
you feel better, too.
I feel a lot better, both mentally and physically, but it keeps me driven to trying to accomplish the things. So, I'm replacing one drug for another.
Right.
So my drug now is
anything.
Yeah, my drug now is like focusing on the projects that I've been working on. This podcast studio.
Yeah.
I'm producing a web series coming up here next, and we go into production at the middle of March.
Well, let's do it. Stop there. So tell me about this, the studio we're in now, and maybe some of the acts you have and shows you have, and maybe how you got it started, stuff like that.
I don't want to. I'll try and go into as many as I can rattle off the top of my head.
Sure.
So my apologies to anybody who's comes through here and they don't mention them. It's not that I don't love you. It's just that.
It's a timing thing.
It's late at night, and my brain's not at peak.
It is. Yeah, I'm getting to the age where I'm like kind of getting sleepy too. I don't know how early you get up, but
I get up every day around 7:30.
And I don't normally fucking 9, and I've 9. No, not, and then snooze 3 times, so like 9:17. And it'd be at work at 10.
Oh,
and I have to shower. I have to. If I don't shower, I'm like a grumpy bitch.
Yeah, I'm
all day.
I have to shower.
I feel like I'm like, yo, I'm yesterday right now. Like, don't talk to me. You know? Don't fucking talk
I like
to me,
that. I'm yesterday right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I go to bed around like 2 a.m. I get up around 7:30. So I started this project August of 2019. A friend of mine had procured a building which he wanted to put his own business in, and a couple other businesses in as well. And he had a space available that he wasn't sure exactly what he was going to do with it. And so I was like, hey, do you mind if I procure the space? How much do you want for it, etc. So we worked out it where I could procure the space.
Yes.
And so this is kind of a launching pad. So what we do here at Golden Ox Studios,
Golden Ox Studios.
You can find it at goldenoxstudios.com, Facebook /Golden Ox_studio, or an Instagram at Golden Ox_studio.
Oh man, we gotta put that on the board, man.
I mean, I'm really only recording this for like B-roll, the visual part of it. I'm gonna probably use this as like a promo video.
All the
different podcasts that I do. So we have. I don't want to go into specifics. I have probably anywhere between 10 and 15 podcasts coming through here on a weekly basis. So what we do is we record, produce podcasts. We're the first studio in Northeast Ohio that is dedicated to podcasting. So
nice.
It's something that I've grown to love and enjoy, and being in stand-up as well, kind of, one hand feeds the other. It's helped open up doors and opportunities for my stand-up. Not only that, it's, I'm providing a service for the community. It's tough because I want this to become like a launching pad into a bigger thing. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but this is the starting project. If I can fill the studio up with 45 different podcasts that pay me on a monthly basis, that opens up the door to a bigger project that I would like to do for the performing arts community here in Cleveland. I'm big on the arts. I'm passionate about what a lot of people are doing around here in Cleveland. Cleveland, I think, it's definitely become, I wouldn't say a flyover state, but we definitely lost our biggest commodity.
What, Kid Cudi?
All right, our
pretty sure
Kid Cudi would
export.
probably be like our second biggest commodity. When we lost LeBron James, which was one of our biggest commodity, that left a big chunk of in this town. It really did. I think people really underplayed what the impact of him moving on to LA really was going to do for us. And
because we didn't learn the first time. That's the funny part.
Exactly. So, and we're starting to see the fallout of it now. But I think that Cleveland, it gets overlooked when it comes to their comedy, their music, their rap, their visual arts scene, paintings, etc. Like, we have a really cool town filled with a bunch of really talented people that I don't think, because we're such a self-deprecating city that doesn't necessarily believe in itself as much as it should. Yeah. And, so that's, some of the podcasts that I run.
People have to say that more. I become such a hater, and I get so bitter when people are like, Cleveland's the scene, Cleveland's on the map, Cleveland's this and that. In my experience, Cleveland isn't shit. I love Cleveland. It's not yet. Doesn't mean it's not going to be nothing forever, but it's not right now. Because if you start saying, if you take something that's bad, if you take a bad sports player or you take a bad fucking pianist and you say they're good, they're not gonna get better because they think they're good. You know what I mean? Oh, it's fine now. Like, no, it's not. It's not good. It's still a very segregated city. It's still garbage. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's fun garbage, and there's a lot of raw talent. I will agree with you on that. There's a lot of raw talent, but it's not set up for success.
It's a lot of raw talent that doesn't,
in my opinion,
ever get to fully realize itself because, one individual's resources can only go so far for itself. Yeah. That goes for bands, rappers, comedians, artists in general. Your resources only go so far because there's only a limited amount of people coming out to see your shows. You know what I mean? Not everyone can have, and that's the thing. When one thing starts going really well, we start exploiting what little resources we have as far as like people or venues are concerned, and then we spread it out too thin. And so we need to realize as a community that we need to organize better, and that's the toughest part. I mean, especially when it comes to stand-up. Stand-ups are we're great communicators, but we're horrible organizers.
I just want to be the city that's known for putting out quality things. You go to LA, like you'll hear like, yeah, you have the hyphy. Well, I'm gonna stick the rap with it. You hear the hyphy sound, or like the LA, the gangbanger shit. Or you can go to Chicago and hear the drill music, or you can go to New York and get that vibe, or wherever. You know what I mean? There's always like a thing about it, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a sound. But Cleveland doesn't really have like a sound. Like I don't know.
I agree.
I don't know if I was from fucking Delaware and I heard 5 bands from Cleveland and you asked me where they're from, and we're like, oh yeah, like, that sounds like they're from Cleveland. You know, like there's not like a thing like that. So being the melting pot we are, I don't know.
No, I agree with you there. Like, I think it's more of a resources thing than it is an actual. Because by the time you get to the point where you can be realizing who you are as an artist or an individual, and really kind of going into your stride of communicating who you are or a sound as a Clevelander or a person, a part of the Cleveland art scene, whatever that may be, your resources have completely been depleted as far as like time, money, or just even the energy or the drive to fully actualize this idea or whatever it was. I mean, that's one of my podcasts that I do that's so wholeheartedly what they talk about of, what about that artist or person, place or thing, what about that artist and their idea drove them to sacrifice time and money away from friends and family and to make sure that idea got out there, and without any real promise of monetary reward.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Like we don't have the population of an LA or a New York or Chicago even.
Mm-hmm.
So we try our best to entertain the people that we've got and try to draw their attention enough to get them to come, and then from there you just kind of do your best to give them a solid product in order to entertain them. But that can only take you so far for so long, and I think it's going to grow into more. This city has never gotten a chance to even fully really form yet. I think right now is a pretty exciting time to be a part of Cleveland because of losing LeBron James. We've had to reestablish ourselves as who we are as individuals or as a city, and either it's going to go really well or we're going to crumble, and that's totally up to us.
Who are we as a city?
We are a
bunch of haters. Jocker City. My buddy, I shot my buddy Karam. He's one of my more urban friends, but he's always had a different view and a more realistic view to me. And I remember we were talking one night, and he was like, "Yeah, but this is Jocker City, because people in Cleveland will take something that's not theirs and act like it's theirs, but it's already dead." Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, take a trend that's already dead and try to redo it again, they made it up, and I'm like,
well, no. It's
and if you say something, different. I'm a hater, you know what I mean? You're just not supporting. No, I should keep you to a high standard. I don't know.
I mean, like I said, it boils back to the resources. Yeah. You're only as smart as where you've been, and a lot of Clevelanders don't really get outside of Cleveland. So, what are you gonna do? You're gonna
have to travel.
And you're just gonna reflect back what's been given to you either on television or on the radio or however you get your sources of entertainment. So you're gonna reflect those things, or you're gonna draw from those influences.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's just kind of Cleveland isn't as far behind as they used to be. But we are still a step behind I wouldn't say most of the country, but certain cities like
as
New
far
York,
as
LA, Chicago.
that people know. People do know Cleveland, so
Yeah, I mean, we've always been on like the brink of becoming a greater city, and then things like LeBron leaving happens, or somebody had started some big project here in Cleveland and decided to, take whatever money was supposed to be for that project that was supposed to help the community and just take the money for themselves and split. So there's been a lot of that, like ups and downs.
Yeah.
As far as the city is concerned, like I said, it's still a pretty good, exciting time to be a part of it, though, because we can build this to be something greater if and we have better resources than we did from like our parents. Just that generation alone, we have better. Like in the what were the things that New York, LA, Chicago had more than Cleveland? Well, they had star power for one, and they had the ability to broadcast better than any other city.
Easier.
It was a lot easier to broadcast from the cities because they had resources like that. Now that's not a thing anymore. You don't need broadcasting power.
Right.
You have the internet.
True. Mm-hmm.
Things like podcasts or streaming live, or you can become a YouTube sensation and bumfuck nowhere.
Yeah.
And you can have your platform and your viewers and your fans or whatever.
Making fucking reaction
I think
videos.
that's where Cleveland fails all the time, is that we are trying so hard to draw from our own community and pull from the resources, what little resources we have from our community, when we didn't realize that we could just draw from other communities via internet.
Yeah.
I don't think we really harnessed or fully realized the power that the internet has, on a whole. I think now we're starting to get it a little better, but that's kind of why I started this, because I feel like if I can get one of my projects, whatever it is, if I can promote it just well enough for it to support all the other projects, or maybe even get something that's a little bit more commercial of a project. That's my business model has definitely been like, not steal from the rich, that's a horrible way to put it, but to use these commercial projects in order to fund money for my passion projects. So one hand's feeding the other. So when I get I do certain voice, my brain's petering out.
There you go.
With these I do voiceover work too for commercials out of here, and
what kind of commercials? You don't have to name what, but what kind?
Mostly for the medical field, for like informational videos, things like that.
My fucking buddy does that shit too.
So
he was telling me, that's just so wild. It's like, wait, what are you just kind of like, you're dying? Well, go to the hospital. I don't know I don't really remember like hospital commercials.
Yeah, I did one guy did a thing that was solely on gonorrhea, and we had a good time giggling about that the whole time. I wish I would have kept a lot of
something wrong with your dick. We got something for you.
You got some gooey coming out of your Peter.
Not the regular stuff.
Yeah.
The weird stuff. Slowly oozing out. Come on down to the clinic. We'll fix you up. Z-Packs, penicillin, we got it all.
So,
by the way,
so
check
doing
out
projects,
Studios. If you want to talk about
doing
it.
projects like that help me still be able to reach out to people in the community, as far as
seems like a good strategy.
Other podcasters or comedians who don't have a lot of money, and a lot of their money comes from clubs and stuff like that, which there's not a lot of money to be made there. So how do we continue to move forward as a true Cleveland community, or as artists? How do we continue to push this forward on a deeper level? And then my business model is to try and gain some of this commercial type business and use the money from that commercial type business to lower my my prices for people who are so like ingrained into the Cleveland art scene, whether it be a rap artist or a podcaster like you or a comedian. If I could do 45 hours of just nothing but car commercials and then the other 30 hours a week, then I could just open it up for free to other people. You know what I mean? That would be the ideal situation. But unfortunately, that isn't the situation I'm at. Unless you're listening to this podcast right now and think to yourself, this kid's got kind of a cool idea. Maybe I should do my car commercial through him.
Maybe.
And book up all 30 hours a week through him. And so he can start.
There's a lot of cars that got to be sold, man.
And there are certain things
a lot of cars got to be sold out.
Yeah, that's right. And there are certain things through, I'm sure... people from either, I don't know if the UK does this, but I know Canada does this where they have funds in place for their artists.
Never heard of that.
That you can get government funding just to be a touring musician. They'll grant you one band that we were on the road, a Canadian band that we were on the road with. They got like $30,000 to do that tour. The country gave them a grant of $30,000 to do this tour.
It's pretty crazy.
And they submitted for it and everything.
Yeah.
That doesn't really exist here in Ohio or in a sense. I mean,
there
are certain... Yeah. But it's
in the form of an advance.
Yeah, it's a very select few, and it is more or less alone.
Yeah,
I know
even
you have
if it's
to
like
pay
payola,
some of it. Yeah, some of it you have to pay it back. But.
Even if it's like, okay, we gave you this money, but now you're in my pocket some type of way.
Yeah.
You gotta that's why I don't even like taking gifts from people and shit, because I'm like, that's payola, man. Like, you might say you don't want nothing back, but I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
So
you always pay for what you get.
Yeah, well, I'm still, still not like a big fan of Cleveland yet, but that's good. We're getting there. That's awesome. You know what I mean? But that's my job. You know what I mean? It's my job to be the hater and to try to knock people down a couple pegs.
Yeah.
And to remind people that it's not the shit yet. I don't care what you say. I don't care because I don't see it.
I understand that Cleveland hasn't reached the potential that it could, and that's frustrating. I don't hate on it because no one's making money at this.
Yeah.
So how can you expect them to drop or sacrifice their entire lives for this idea? It's tough to, it's even tough for me. I lose money on this studio pretty much every month that I've opened.
Yeah.
And it's coming out of my pocket.
Yeah.
But could anybody
really investment?
I'm trying to invest into my community and give people a place. I'm trying to keep my prices as low as I can, and luckily I'm in a room where I can do that. But can you really hate on me for ever stopping this? Because my resources can only go so far. What
I would hate on, and I use hate jokingly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
it's a satirical hate.
Yeah, it's definitely satirical. Would be if you were like, I got the hottest podcast studio in town, blah, blah, we're doing big stuff, even though, and I think you're not doing big things, but you're still at this stage of it.
Yeah,
but
I'm definitely in the early
You know
stages.
what I mean? Like, if you were talking like that, and that's what I notice a lot, people are just like, oh, yeah, I'm lit, I'm this and that. I'm like, no, you're not. And they're like, why? I'm like, because you're talking to me. To me. I can get to you. That wasn't even hard. You know what I mean? Like, I just walked up on you. Like, you can't be doing nothing that crazy if I can just get to you, So,
as artists, you have to. This is I'm gonna go inside baseball on comedy right now, especially in early stages of my comedy. The thing that I find most icky about it is that I have to self-promote. I have to promote myself.
Annoying.
That is
you, the brand.
Yeah, I am the brand. I have to look at me. I'm doing this thing. At this place and time, and it's the whole thing's shameless and gross to me. It goes against how I was raised. You're not supposed, because being raised religious, everything you do is supposed to be for the glory of God, quote unquote. No one can see me doing my bunny ears right now. So it seems to go against my who I am as an individual, to be promoting myself as an individual. And it's that funny game of playing of like, you got to be looking like you're doing more than you are, so you can get better so you can at least be in mind for when those bigger opportunities come up, that those people are thinking like, okay, Jeremy's already done something similar to this, so he can definitely be a person that could do this gig or whatever it is. And so you have to put yourself in a place that looks like you're doing more, but also remaining humble about it and not necessarily believing the hype. But you also have to be some sort of have these delusions of grandeur, because otherwise, what the fuck are you doing? You have to have goals set in place. There's like things that I want to accomplish and things what I want to do. And I know I sound 95% of the time, I sound like a fucking crazy, or at least in my head, I sound like a fucking crazy person going, here are my goals and this is what I want to accomplish. And I know it's in a sense a self-grandizing, but you have to have that mentality in order to accomplish those things. Because if you don't believe in yourself, no one else is ever going to believe in you. No one's going to do this for you.
And people can hear that. People can hear that in your approach. If you don't believe in yourself, they can hear that shit.
If you're going to do it, you have to, it's in comedy we call it bombing gracefully. You know what I mean? You know you're eating shit. You know nobody's laughing, but you're smiling and you're telling your jokes and you're making your time. And eventually, if you do that enough, you're going to, one of two things you're going to do. You're either going to get better, you're going to figure out how to make those people laugh, or you're going to quit.
So if you were to get a big opportunity with the stand-up stuff, do you think you would have to run and take that and have to leave some of this behind for a little bit? Or no. Okay, no. Here's a better question though. If you had an option, right? It's either to find an extraordinary amount of success in the band, or stand up, or as a content producer guy. Which one would you pick? You got to pick one.
If I had to pick one, stand up.
If you had to pick one.
That's easy, stand up, And
that's perfect. So that's what I want to go to next. So we talked about the podcast, we got the studio. You need to go to Golden Ox, especially if you're from around here. It's cheap, it's comfy, it's upstairs. You can drink Coors Light. Gotta bleep that out again because they're not
Coors
paying me.
Beer. There's a difference.
Fuck. Coors Banquet.
Yeah.
It's a good place. Okay, so stand up. So we're gonna go back. You said you're 35?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you're 35. When did you start stand up?
5 years ago.
Okay. And what got you to do that? Did you just like
a friend of mine?
I'm gonna just do it.
I was on it was the first time All Dinosaurs had gone on a hiatus, and a friend of mine had already started doing stand-up, and I was like, I didn't even know there was places to do stand-up in Cleveland, like open mic nights and shit like that. I thought we
got like Hilarities.
Yeah, I thought that was the only place.
Improv.
I thought those were the only places where you can do stand-up, and they only hire like road comics.
Yeah.
So they just send people in here to do
like established comedians.
From other cities.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that there was an open mic night here in Cleveland that does stand up. There's the open mic night dedicated to stand up. It is called LVT, and so a friend of mine told me about it. He goes, "We'll go." He's like, "Write some jokes. We'll go together, and you can tell your jokes, and we'll sign up for the open mic night. You can tell your jokes." And he'd already been doing it, and so I went, signed up. He was supposed to meet me there, and he never showed up. So I had already put my name down, and I'm thinking, this guy was supposed to be like my support system. Even if I told him, even if I'm shitty at this, I just need you to laugh. As long as I hear one person laughing, I won't feel like it was a total failure. And I probably still got maybe even though he didn't show up, I still got maybe one or two more laughs one or two more
you might have
people.
expected.
Yeah, and that was enough for me to be like, I'm fucking hooked. I got maybe one.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I got one laugh off of one joke. I don't even remember what the joke was, but I remember the feeling I got, which was, oh man,
right.
This is it for me.
Hell yeah.
I fell in love with it immediately. I've always loved
You
the
said
art.
you can't remember the joke.
I can't remember the joke. I want to say it was, I was talking about how, I remember the punchline, and I still use this punchline. This is how sad it is. The punchline is, if I'm created in God's image, then God must really hate himself too.
Yeah.
I still think that's a really clever line.
It is.
I still work that into my set today. That's literally out of the 5-minute set that I did. Like, I also too, I was so proud of the fact that I got the
right. That's a long 5 minutes. You're telling jokes, right?
Right, and bombing for most of it. Like, I probably bombed out of the 5 minutes I was up there. I probably bombed for 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and then I said that one joke, and I got maybe some light giggles out of it, and that was enough for me to be like, yes, this is the thing I want to pursue. And I did that for like 4 years. I took a little bit of time off as a stand-up just because I thought I was going to take some time off to write.
Yeah.
And I got a new job that was requiring a lot of time from me. And so I was like, well, I'll focus on this new job. Things will chill out eventually on the job, and I'll take that time to write. And I just didn't do anything for almost a year. And then I ran into an old stand-up friend, and he was like, where the fuck have you been?
Wait, what happened to the other dude? The dude didn't set you up?
He doesn't do stand-up now.
What did he explain himself? How he didn't show up?
You're right. I did graze over that.
Yeah.
He did not explain himself. He said at least I didn't think he explained himself fully. He said he had fallen asleep, and that's why he didn't come, which was...
That's kind of funny, though.
And then, what was it? And then he just never stopped. He never started going to open mic nights again. Like, he had done a couple shows here and there, but we never once ever did comedy on the same stage.
Yeah.
Which is really funny because he's the one who got me into it.
Yeah.
He's a great dude. I love him to death. We're still good buddies. But he doesn't do stand-up now either, which is a shame because he's a really talented, funny individual. He was really good. And I'm... You
can't. I don't think you ever get too old to do stand up. So I think.
You can. I think because
in comparison to other kinds of forms of entertainment,
you can always do stand up, but you're not going to make a career out of it. I think I don't know. There's always
I'm just saying if you're 42 and you're doing stand up.
Rodney Dangerfield didn't become popular until he was in his mid-40s.
But
that was a pretty different time then,
Yeah, true.
I think 35 is right at like the age where if I had been doing it for 10 years, I'd be at least on the road in making a living as a comic.
Yeah, getting pitched and casted for like really shitty movies.
But would I still be? Yeah. But would I still be in Cleveland? Probably not.
Yeah. So what's the scene like around here? Would you say, as far as like your opinion and what you see? Comedy scene
right now. The comedy scene in Cleveland is the best it's ever been. Even when
what I'm thinking, I feel like that's not shit though. The best Cleveland's been. It's like,
yeah, it's still not. It's not what it could be, but it's growing, and that's the thing with comedy is a little bit different than any other real art form because when you're a musician, your job is to learn how to manipulate an instrument. When you're a comedian, your job is to learn how to manipulate a crowd into getting the results that you want. So that's how I equate.
Manipulation, you say.
Yep. And so you're, Brian, that's actually kind of drawn from a Brian Regan quote, was that he said that, your instrument is the audience. And so I kind of extrapolated that sentence from that. I just wanted to make sure he was referenced.
Yeah.
But Cleveland isn't what it should be, but it definitely shows the potential to into growing what it could be.
So what are some signs that are letting you know that Cleveland's got a decent...
There's multiple places to go to do stand-up in Cleveland pretty much every night of the week. No matter what stage of comedy you're in. And that's the beauty of comedy, is that you can be any aspect of the ratio. Like, you could be a really great comic or you could be a really shitty comic, but there's always, every day of the week, there's multiple places for you to go and do your stand-up, which is great that Cleveland has that. And stand-up is one of those things where the only way you're going to get better at doing stand-up is continue doing it and eating shit.
How much shit did you have to eat before you got it?
I'm still eating shit. I'll never you'll never, even if the best, even if I become like the best comic who ever lived, there's still stuff for me to learn as a stand-up. There will still be something I haven't figured out, or there will still be rooms that don't quite get me as well as I think they should have gotten me. Is that on them? Is that on me? Who knows? Stand-up is its own entity. It's its own thing. You can compare it to other art forms, but it's still its own art form, all the same. It's very unique, and I love that about it. And I always tell stand-ups I'm still new at this, so I'm not shit.
Yeah.
I'm still not shit. Anybody who's listening to this podcast right now, they're like, this kid's talking like he's famous already, and I'm not famous, and there's a reason why you haven't heard of me before this podcast, because I'm not a popular comic. I don't have a record out or anything like that. Yet. These are all goals that I
must manifest them.
I do. I'm not firm on manifesting by simply speaking it out means that it'll become so. I'm not that kind of person. I think that's total bullshit. But
bullshit or just kind of bullshit?
To give yourself a clarity of what your goals are, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You need to tell yourself what you want, and then figure out the ways to get to where you want to go. That's my view on self-actualization. Speaking it into truth or whatever they call that bullshit. But either in stand-up, you're either going to continue to do it and you're going to get better at it, or you're going to quit, because there's only so much shit that an individual can take before they think to themselves, I'm not good at this and I don't like doing this anymore. I try not to discourage new comics that are even, brand new comics. This is their first time ever at a stand-up open mic night or whatever it is. I never try. My thing is, I always tell them, as long as you got the light, you're golden. As long as you got the light and you didn't piss the room off and ruin it for everyone else where we have to get the room back, you're golden as a stand-up as far as I'm concerned. That's a good place to start.
Because I just saw you the other night at the Plum, and they were doing that service industry stand-up thing, and I don't know that formula. I've not seen that before, where all the comics got up and kind of like talked together. Now I don't know if that's like a normal thing now.
No, it's not.
No? Okay, because that was interesting. I was like, this is kind of weird. They're like kind of like feeding off each other.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. David Horning, he's like a guy who puts on shows, probably some of the best independent shows in Cleveland, where he'll do like, I call them pop-up shows, where like he'll do it in like a restaurant like the Plum, and he'll, on a Monday night or something like that, and he'll book like 4 or 5 comics on it. And he always puts on the best shows, and they always have some sort of theme to them, which draws people in. He's just really good at promoting his shows.
Yeah.
And having a a clear theme of what the show is. And yeah, that's not normal for a bunch of comics to come up and kind of riff with one another.
Yeah.
I had the best time ever doing that.
Yeah.
Because even if my joke wasn't working, these 4 other comics that are to my left or my right, they're going to pick me up.
Yeah. Someone's going to finish that shit off for sure.
So I can put out the idea, and even if the original idea isn't that funny, one of the 4 comics is going to make that idea funny, or they're going to move on to something different, and people already forgotten about what I'd said.
What would you say your comedy style is? Is there that's a thing, right?
Yeah, no, that's
slapstick and
thing.
there's dry humor and dark humor.
I'd say more dark humor is probably more my shtick. But then again, like I said, who knows?
That one dude up there,
I'm still just trying to find
joke.
myself up there. What's that?
The one dude told a 9/11 joke at the Plum.
Who did that?
I don't know his name.
Was that Raj? I think Raj did that.
Nah, well, maybe. I was outside smoking for that one. But no, the white dude with the beanie. And he had the shitty tattoo jokes.
Oh, Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, he thought not living joke, and no way really laughed. Like me and my buddies laughed because we're like, oh shit,
Jimmy's a funny guy.
Yeah. And we're like, yeah, not no High City, buddy. So, but that was cool. I was like, okay, at least you're not afraid of it's a fucking joke, It
was funny when I thought for sure that Jimmy Graham hated me when I first started doing stand up, and when I first met him. Or at least got to know him better. And I was convinced that he hated me. And as it turns out, I was just an insecure little fuck. I told him that recently. Yeah, he didn't hate me. I don't think he had any thought of me one way or the other.
Yeah.
I think he's that kind of. I think it was that kind of situation, or he's that kind of person. Really,
yeah.
I don't think he has feelings towards anybody one way or the other. And so it kind of gets taken off as if he hates you.
Yeah.
But he's really funny. He's a really funny dude.
He's wild.
He's been doing it for a long time. He's a big part of this Cleveland comedy scene. Jimmy Graham, John Bruton, Bill Squire, Mike Polk Jr. Those guys are definitely big. Big forerunners in the Cleveland comedy scene. They put on good shows. They're good comics. They encourage good comedy. They give good comics good places to showcase their comedy. I got a lot of good things.
It's cool.
Say. Yeah, it's a fun time to be a Cleveland comic right now because it's really growing. It's really growing into something good, and everyone's really friendly. When I first started doing stand-up, everyone was talking shit. No, it's crazy. Or maybe I'm just a part of the clique. Now I'm finally a part of the clique, so I think that's the greatest.
Oh my God, everyone's so supportive.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody heard me earlier. I don't believe none of this shit. No,
it used to be really rough. Everyone was talking shit about each other, and it was not fun when I first started. It was fun to eventually get your laughs. That was the part. You were going up for the audience, not for the comics in the room. And people that's the thing too, is that sometimes in Cleveland, new comedians get offended that other comedians don't laugh. We might be staring at you, but we're not paying attention to what you're saying. And then if I'm in a room full of comics and I'm getting no laughs, I'm not offended by that. I'm there to work. I'm there to you don't get offended when you go to a gym and no one's realizing how much weight you're lifting or how long you've run on that treadmill.
It's a good analogy.
So everyone's there to work out. So when they may be staring at you, but what they're thinking about in their head is what they're about to do or what they had already done. Mm-hmm. This is the only thing that's going on in that comic's head. So you can't be offended by comics not laughing at your jokes, no matter how funny they are. And also, comics know what it takes to make a joke. So
they get the timing and shit.
Yeah, we're desensitized.
It's coming. And then they've probably seen you. They probably worked in the same venues as you, so they get like your shit already.
And odds are good if they're laughing at something you said, they're laughing at the wrong part or for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Huh. So when you're in those venues and in that scene, to make it quick, do you hear someone doing like the same bit like forever? Are there comments like that? They do the same goddamn bit for like half a year.
The worst is when they do the same goddamn bit for half a year and they don't change like the wording around. They don't change the cadence of it. It's
just
the same
straight
joke.
Copy paste.
Yep. And if you found out a way to make that joke work, sure, say it that same way over and over and over again. But if you haven't, you should probably play around with the joke.
You remix it a little bit.
That's why, like, me saying, like, I still use that punchline, if I'm created in God's image, God must really hate himself too. Yeah. That's the ending of a very long joke that has taken on several different forms. Also, too, I think that you can get trapped too deeply into the writing process of jokes that you forget that you have to get up there and say them to people. I learned that the hard way. I recorded myself doing a set, and I realized that I was talking at people and not talking to people. And I had to deprogram that part of my brain to go, because when you talk
no one likes
people,
that. No one likes that shit.
No, because you revert back to when you were in school. Like when I think of when I was in, at Tri-C with professors, my least favorite teachers or professors were the ones who talked at me and not to me.
Yeah. So
they're like kind of just regurgitating this, or like this set plan. So, or this, they have it memorized to the point where they're not even really using their brain anymore. They're just kind of like verbally vomiting out these words. But as soon as you make that switch, it took me like 3 months to make that switch of going up with no material and getting no laughs and just trying to go up there and be funny off a whim. Like I would be thinking about what I'm about to start talking about as I'm walking up.
Oh my gosh. It sounds terrifying.
And sometimes I would get laughs.
Terrifying.
And sometimes I get nothing. And the days where I got laughs, I felt like, I had really accomplished the impossible. And the days where I didn't get laughs, I wasn't prepared. So I had nothing to really, I can only gain. I had nothing to really lose.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get myself out of this funk of just, if somebody were to say like, I get that in the middle of my set, it would throw my whole set off. Your set can't be so tight or so wildly tight that if somebody says or sneezes over a line, that you fucked up your entire set.
Yeah.
So you got to learn that you have a room full of individuals that want to connect. They're there to see you and they want to connect to you. So connect with those people.
So if I wanted to, find somebody that's trying to connect with the people through these stand-up, what are some of the places I should go to if you can name drop some venues?
LVT, TikTok. I can go through every day. So Monday, you can go to Taco Tano's, or you can go to Great Lakes. Tuesdays, you can go to TikTok Tavern, $2. Or there's a new show in Berea called Grindstone. I heard that's really good. Wednesdays you can go to Lakewood Village.
Can't go to Berea, man. I caught a case out there.
Did you? We'll talk about that. On Wednesdays there's Lakewood Village Tavern, and there's
I didn't know these places had stand-up night.
There's Winchester, and there's one other room. And now I'm forgetting what that room is now. Fuck. Well, my apologies to everyone's. Oh, Monday I forgot about Grog Shop.
Grog Shop, yeah.
Mondays, Make 'em Laugh Mondays at the Grog Shop is a really great show.
I bet.
It's a lot of fun. And then Thursday nights, there's East End Bistro, and I mostly just go to East End Bistro. I try to take it easy on. And then every other Friday nights, there's some sort of random show going on.
Yeah.
And Saturdays, too, is kind of the same way. Or if you're lucky enough, you got a set over at Hilarities or the Improv. But yeah, there's always somewhere to go see comedy. Pretty much every day of the week. And then Sunday, there's a Sunday night. I never go out on a Sunday night. So
yeah, I wouldn't.
I'm sure there's shows that go on Sunday nights. I just never go to them.
Yeah, I bet.
There's one at Game On I heard that's really good. And I'd never go to that one. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No.
Or that open mic.
Cool,
I just don't go to that show just because I only get so much time with my wife.
Yeah.
I get Wednesday nights and I get all day Sunday with her, and that's it. Yeah. Otherwise, we're on opposite schedules and we never see each other. So I really got to
just climbing in the bed and shit.
Yep, we're ships and passing in the night.
Yep.
So usually when she's just getting home when I'm leaving, vice versa. We make it work. I love my wife and I love our relationship. And she's been very supportive of a lot of the things that I do. She owns her own business, and so I'm really supportive of what she does.
Yeah, I got stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, you guys don't seem like the type to really get sick of each other like that. But I know me, like, it doesn't matter who it is. Like, I need my space, and not like space, like, I need to be alone in the house, but I just need to be like, don't talk to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not always something to talk about,
We have a space, and so when we do get to hang out or see each other, we're genuinely excited to see each other.
And you have shit to talk about, and Well, other than that, can you tell everybody, which you did drop it earlier, but once again, can you tell everybody like where to find you, where they can find you,
where
they can find the studio, tags, handles?
You can find me personally on Facebook.com/GHERAMY, Jeremy. Or you can find me on Instagram at Instagram/GHERAMY_Demery. Or you can go to goldenoxstudio.com. Or you can go to Facebook.com/GoldenOx_studio. And then at Instagram _GoldenOxstudio_studio. My brain's. I think we're wrapping up here.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. All right, well, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, that's the LowRoad 24. And my guest, one more time, who do I have with me for my millions and billions of fans?
Oh, I'm ready. Oh, shit. Ghemary Demery.
There we go. Yeah. Hey. That's it. Easy stuff.
How was that?
That was good.
You're not just saying that, are you?
Nah.
You don't have to just say that.
Nah, if it's not good, I won't put it out. Because I've had a couple of those, my friend. You wouldn't think it,